Doesn't seem like your sound is working.
Yeah, load the bash RC at the exact same level.
You guys hear us now?
Hey, it works now.
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear us?
When I started.
Yep, we can hear you.
Excellent, okay. That was pretty quiet. Hey, Joseph, could you say something? You were a little quiet before.
Oh,
Oh, no, that's good. We just had to turn up our volume.
okay, sure.
Okay, so we don't have the demo for today, but I think we skipped the roadmap the last 2 meetings, so I think we should go over this. Since we haven't had time to update them. So let me share my screen here. Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay. So first thing that I wanted to say is that I've changed this to the Q1 2017 goals, short-term, midterm, since this way we can be a little more specific about what's being done for what timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So for April, we have all these things listed. Some of them I imagine are done, and some of them I imagine are being pushed back or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's kind of go around the room and see which tickets we can address. So Mesos on Windows, it's a pretty big ticket. Joseph, what do you want to do with this ticket? You want to just leave it open? Do we have a milestone for which we're going to declare this ticket done?
Well, I guess that epic might last for a little bit longer.
Okay.
But there's active work going on in that epic.
Right.
Okay. And there's no way to like split that epic into something more milestone worthy than saying Mesos on Windows, which is like.
Yeah, I guess that's the question.
It could be. It could be put up a little bit. I guess the question is this for people who want to know what we're focused on, or for us to figure out like which particular tickets we're working on? Because I think generally people would want to know that we're working on Mesos on Windows, right? They might not.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And as a roadmap,
Okay.
you know.
Sure. So there's some things that have strike through. Can we just remove them?
So we could.
Or you wanted to?
Try to decide whether we want to keep track of the things that we got done, like that quarter, and
Okay.
like, keep the history, or not. I'm not sure if that's useful for us or not,
Or,
or if people would find it useful or not.
That's already in the change log, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's true. So maybe it's not all that useful on the roadmap document. Okay. Yeah, we can remove them.
okay. Part.
So improvements to traditional Mesos frameworks.
So that's still in progress.
Okay.
We made quite some improvements in the latest release for 1.2, but there's still some open issues
Okay.
that we will need to work on for 1.3. So that's still going on.
Okay. Let's see. Add support for NVIDIA GPUs and not containerizer. That I don't think is here.
So yeah, Ben and Kelly's not here, so maybe I can answer this one.
Okay.
So yeah, they're still in the design review process. IBM guys on it, and Yongbo and Guangya, they are working on the design yet. So I guess they still does not pass the design process with Ben Moore and Kevin. So
Is the plan to get that done in Q1?
I'm not sure if they can get it done by Q1 because it's not trivial.
Trivial?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you want to push that down to then Q2,
Yes.
if you're not actually working on it right now.
Yeah.
I can have to tell which.
Interesting. Should be
Because title is
this one.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to. Yeah, I'll do this. Yeah, I'll go through it, get rid of the scratched ones. Improvements to shared resources, is yeah on the call?
I don't think so, but I don't think they're doing anything for now other than what they've done already.
Okay. You don't think there's stuff in progress currently?
I don't think they're working on anything that's stuff that needs to be done more. I think they kind of moved on to some other stuff.
Okay.
So we probably want to. I think this is probably like too time consuming to do that. And if you want to like take a note, sure, take list
So
of tickets.
Sorry, what did you
I
say?
think like doing that for every ticket is probably time consuming.
Yeah.
Should I just take notes here
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
and then I'll give you the list.
Yeah.
So we are
Okay.
So G, okay, so next one.
it's the image garbage collection. And for this one, Google guys working on the design and discuss the components with me. And I personally want this to be included in the first season of 2007.
Okay.
And the implementation might not be easy because you're gonna change many parts in the containerizer. But the design is almost done. You still have a couple of issues, but hopefully we can have some conclusion with G next week. So let's keep it. Yeah.
Okay.
The OCI. The OCI Chen is working on that, and the OCI he already has patches, and G and I already make some reviews for those patches. So hopefully it can land by the end of April.
Okay.
I mean, so we don't need that much detail for every ticket. We just say whether we're working on it or not.
Should we keep it or not?
Okay,
Unless someone has questions.
Alright.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Auto backend stuff?
That's
So
landed.
landed.
Landed. Just
Sorry,
strike through.
okay, cool.
See-through namespace.
So the single namespace, Houston already have patches on reviewable, so let's keep it.
Okay. Super subsystems? It's been here for a while. I wonder if it's working well.
I am not.
Rest of single, maybe we should move that one out.
Yeah,
6364. Public site touch infrastructure for modules. That's not happening, right?
that's it. Yeah, build it.
That may happen, well, within a few months. Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Okay, let's move it out for now,
I'll move it down.
and then we can pull it back in if it.
Bill is working on the community, like the Jenkins test infrastructure for Mesos that we're doing for review bot.
Is there a ticket for
Yeah,
that?
that's a separate ticket, or that's a separate item.
Yeah, that's a separate one. From there, it wouldn't be too much harder to get the modules exposed in the same way, but
We can pull it back in when we actually try to do that.
yeah, we can take it out of the current goals until we're ready to start working on that
And
one.
is there an Epic ticket for that one, the public CI, or is it just a ticket, or?
I'd have to look.
Okay,
Wait, what's the thing that Kaplan's working on, you mentioned?
So Mesosphere has a Jenkins job that runs on Mesos master and can be configured to run on any review board requests, perhaps with a whitelisted list of contributors. So, and with that, we can get Windows builds in our extra review bot, as well as root tests.
Right, okay.
So
that's like publicizing the Mesosphere CI, right? Opening up the Mesosphere CI to the public, is what you're saying?
yeah, or creating an open instance that does this job openly.
Yeah.
And allow so people can see a review and see that, oh, this failed to build on Windows, click through, see the logs, find out why, try again.
What does that have to do with the publicizing the test infrastructure for modules again?
I assume that that would also be a Jenkins job that
I think this is not the Jenkins job, I think this is probably
No,
like,
this is completely different.
okay.
this is like headers and stuff that modules need to make that. In a ticket, the heading is little,
Yeah, test infrastructure confused me. I think of CI when I think of that.
Yeah, it's like the test headers, like Mesos HPP, breaking that, like source test.
Like the unit test.
like cluster HPP and
Details.
So that
stuff.
modules can use them to
Okay.
run tests against their stuff.
Yeah,
We change the summary.
Yeah, let's-
Yeah, we'll do that, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll-
sounds valuable, but if nobody's working on it, we can pull it out of the roadmap.
Full redesign of Mesos CLI, I don't think it's happening in Q1, so we should move that out.
Which one?
The next one.
Full redesign of-
Move that out. Introduce CMake, I think there's active progress on it, right, Joseph?
Quite active.
HCD, is there
That's
anything
not
happening?
active at the moment.
Okay, so let's move that out.
For CMake, what, we were gonna finalize it at some point?
Yeah, we hope to at least start talking about the deprecation process of auto tools, maybe after the end of this month.
Okay,
Sweet, awesome.
okay, great.
So
Task groups important?
we should move that out. Improvement, so I guess we are making one improvement, let's keep that one. We are adding multiple task group support right now. Just landed actually.
Okay.
And we might be making some more, so should keep it there for now.
Okay.
And maybe we should change it to accepted and in progress, I guess. Investigate restoring task executor machine reboot. So this is what Apple guys are planning to work on. Is anyone from Apple online? So we had a lot of discussions even until last week. So I think that
active.
they're active, so let's keep it there. Operator API V1, scheduler API V1, those I would say actually pull it down into Q2. I think we'll pull one of those back up depending on what we decide for our backlog for API. So 60073302. 6460, I think there's some active bugs. So this one is the main ticket. I think this will be closed, right? 6460, you're closing it for 1.2 and container exec attach.
Container exec. So we didn't. Yeah, we can close that one and then have an improvements one because we haven't actually done all of the CLI work for the Mesos CLI as well as a few other things.
But are you not trying to call that out in changelog?
Yes, we're definitely calling that feature out in the changelog.
Okay, we should close this one and create the improvements one.
I agree with that.
Okay.
It's almost done actually.
Okay. So frameworks to receive these resources for multiple roles. That's actually being worked on, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So container attaching exec, that's gonna be
That's
closed.
going to be closed, yeah.
Roles, that's being worked on.
Hierarchical roles, that's being worked on.
Yeah.
Should probably say accepted and move it to in progress.
Yeah.
Client ID, are you going to work anything on that?
So yeah, I just need if all the infrastructure is there, I need to iron out some of the kinks before I publish it.
You're trying to do it this quarter?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think probably April, late March, April, actually we'll get around to it.
Okay. That's okay. So that should be also accepted and in progress or something. Executed out, that's definitely in progress. So the stuff that's not here that I know it's currently being worked on are the general checks that Alex and Gaston are working on, which are a complement to health checks. We should add that ticket.
Yeah, what was it?
The general checks that
General checks.
that Gaston and Alex are working on.
Oh.
What do you call probes?
Oh, okay.
That stuff is being actually worked on.
Okay.
So we need to add that stuff to the roadmap. What else? Yeah, that is there anything else that you guys are working on or shepherding that's not reflected here?
Maybe our
Yeah, let's see. We'll be adding some authorization to like the V1 master operator endpoint.
It's not Epic, is it?
Let me check. That might not be an epic yet.
Okay.
It might just be a task at the moment.
Okay. Craig, Gilbert, are you guys working on anything in the containerizer space that's not reflected here, like epics?
So for Epic, nope. So hopefully we want to land the image GC and the OCI. So those are the two biggest Epic for containerizer.
And
so,
those are both reflected here.
they're already
Okay.
there.
They're here. GC.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, looks pretty good. What else is down here?
Name, place, parallel execution, and media. Okay, share this one. Okay.
That's all right.
That sounds about right. What I imagine, yeah. And anyone else, anything else anyone else is working on that's not reflected here? People that are online?
So do we have this CDNFS here in the room?
CDNS.
Yeah, we may want to added. It is the ticket 5774.
5774.
Yeah, it's a proxy VNFS based on image type in unified continuously.
Okay.
And the general check ticket is 5916. Called improve health checking.
So what's the stage of the health check right now?
What stage of it? There's some reviews out.
So we already support the TCP and HTTP health check
Yeah.
for all.
So we support TCP and HTTP and command health checks on the command executor. We do not support command checks on the default executor, which we are fixing now. And we're adding a new type of check called just check, not health check, which lets you not kill stuff, but actually just get data from your executor. Yeah, for doing stuff that the schedulers want to do, but nothing Mesos would ever act on. So we're calling as general non-interpreting check.
So for the command health check with the case of the container with image specified, so with the pivot root case, does it work right now?
So in the default executor, it doesn't work. So we are using the launch nested container call, and it should work with that.
Okay.
Because agent is on that's going to launch it.
Okay, but you already work for the image case in command executing.
Yeah, so command execute it works already.
I see.
Yeah, it doesn't work for default executor. We are fixing that as part of this together.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess that reflects all the stuff.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good on the roadmap stuff.
Okay.
Did anyone have any ad hoc topics that they wanted to discuss? 1.2 release.
Yeah, I can talk about the 1.2 release. So we've got all our blocker features done. I am about ready to cut a branch and a 1.2x branch and bump the version to 1.3 in master. And then I will update the change log in the docs in the branch, and we can cherry pick over any other blockers or criticals that land in the next couple of days. And after I have the change log and everything ready, we can cut an RC1 and vote on it. But I'm going to go ahead and cut the branch so we don't so we can unblock anybody that wants to add new 1.3 features to master, and B, so we don't introduce any new bugs that introduce more blockers and delay the release even further. So I will be cutting the branch and bumping the version in master this afternoon.
Okay. Great. Okay.
I think what committers need to remember is when the result tickets from now on, it should be 1.3 and not 1.2,
Yeah,
unless you want them to be cherry picked.
You can always check the version number in configure AC and CMake lists, and that will be what version it's actually going into, unless you've bothered to cherry pick it into a release branch. But for the time being, please just notify me of any patches that you want cherry picked so that I can keep an eye on them and I don't get surprised by a broken build or something.
And can you send that on the dev list?
Yes, I will send that on the dev list as soon as I have cut the branch and bump the version.
You mentioned that we're all done with blockers for now, or is there?
So we're, let's see. I have to log back into Jira because it always logs me out. So we're done with all the feature blockers. I think there's one more blocker bug that we can cherry pick in, but I just want to get the branch cut early so that we don't introduce new blockers.
I don't see any blockers.
Okay, yeah, I think there was one that was lingering for a little bit, but we're back down to no blockers, only 3 critical, so we're doing good.
Oh, 3 critical.
Yeah.
Cherry pick those later?
We can cherry pick them if they land before, I cut the RC and start the vote. After we start the vote, you need to make an argument that it is a release blocker and it would be a reason to cut an RC2. I suspect that there will be some things, and there will be an RC2, but you know, we can make those decisions when the bugs show up.
So in terms of the release process, we have talked we like mentioned briefly around like a freezing period to like cut earlier.
Yeah, so that's something I am in favor of. That's essentially kind of what this branching before the RC1 is. You know, as soon as you branch and you bump the version, you have essentially done a code freeze on that release. And then anything further past that has to be cherry picks that are, you know, argued per SHA.
Right. Yeah. Do you feel like cutting it when we want to release is early enough, or do you want to do it like? Because if we cut a release every 2 months,
Can you just do it based on date, you mean?
like as in like do we like, you know, cut a branch, I don't know, a week before we want to release, or 2 weeks before we release, or something like that. And then you can just cherry pick so that we can meet the release date.
So
opposed to like,
yeah, I like that, but you know, if we have any blocker feature work, we basically need to wait until the feature work is complete, because cherry picking like 1 or 2 patches for a bug fix is easy. Cherry picking a chain of 12 that's happened after some refactoring is impossible.
yeah.
So if once we're down to things that look like they will be, you know, bug fix patches that we cherry pick, we can cut the branch as soon as that happens.
Wait, but so are we kind of like, is our release not strictly time-based anymore?
Well, it's time-based, and then as soon as the time happens, we have to resolve all the blockers.
Okay.
But if the blockers, if we have a rolling window of more blockers showing up, then you can't cut the release. Because at the moment, if I cut the release and it's time-based and we set the votes for RC1 and then we say there's 10 blockers, great, stop the vote, you know, fix these 10 blockers, which could take a month, and then cut an RC2. So this is.
I see. So it seems like the issue is we could have like features that are 3/4 of the way done by a time window comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's partially because we don't do feature development in a branch. Like the feature doesn't come into the repo as an atomic thing. It's like,
or
it could be like
We don't do feature branch. I mean, I would say it's not strictly time-based, but we're still trying to not add new features at the last minute.
Right. Okay.
But I think one thing we could improve on is that right now we start doing this burn down, creating the charts and everything after the 2-month deadline. We should probably start that sooner than that, maybe 2 weeks before that.
I see.
Start the dashboard, start telling people to not start working on new features at this time,
Right.
actually just focus on fixing bugs. And ideally we should agree on features for the release even much before that and not add new features into that. Or you're not going to make it, if you add some feature, you're working on it, it's fine, but that shouldn't be a release blocker. And we need to get agreement on that much before. And that's not what something we have been doing a good job of. I think that's something we could improve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this release took like a month long, which is not great, and what we anticipated. But
And has that been mostly bug fixes?
no, we were like blocked on 2 or 3 features. And some features kind of we wanted to really get in, but we really didn't plan for it until the very end, kind of thing. Just kind of unfortunate. Maybe like a part of this is we'll say 2 months is not, it's too quick enough for doing releases this way. Maybe it has to be 3 months or something, and then at least.
The other option is to do feature branches. So you don't actually land everything in that feature until everything's ready.
But then it's like
There's a lot of
rebasing,
rebasing.
that a lot of rebasing and
Yeah. So the other option,
I get it.
Yep.
That's the trade-off, right?
the other option is release trains where everything goes behind a disable flag. And if it's, I mean, we have a lot of things that are core changes to like libraries like Stout, but a lot of the features could be, you put in kind of the core infrastructure and then everything's disabled by default. And then if you aren't ready to enable it by the time we cut the release, that feature is disabled for that release. We don't even announce it. It's still in development. The next release, you finish it up, enable it, or make it promoted so that you can enable it.
But I think the problem is been that people wanted that to be enabled. I mean, if they were okay with disabled, they might have said like it's not a blocker. There's parts of it that's in there, and we won't announce it so no one can use it. And they will use it in next release. But the thing that happened, for example, auto backend, to pick an example, we really wanted that in 1.2. It's not like we said, okay, it's okay if it missed this release, gets into 1.3, it's okay. We said we want to get that in because for whatever reason. I think that's where the trickiness is. To me, we need to have like better policy around that one.
Yeah, in a sense, having shorter time periods for time-based releases makes it easier, I think, to pass on including something in a given release.
Because you're like, oh, I'll just wait till the next.
Yeah, it's no big deal. It's just a month or 6 weeks until the next point. And you're like confident it will definitely happen in that time period and not be delayed longer.
Yeah.
But we had gotten feedback from the community that it's too often. Like,
Yeah.
we used to do it every month.
Once a month. I think back then the feedback was too often, mainly because we guaranteed only one version compatibility. So they had like 10 releases come 3 months, and like, what the hell? Like, I had to go through all these releases to get the new features. They just want to jump.
Right.
But now that we allowed people to jump, maybe that's less of an issue for them. It's probably easier for us to do like a monthly release. I don't know if you can automate a lot of this release. Which the one thing why I didn't want to do 1 month was also because it's out of commitment from the release manager to do it. It takes quite a bit of time. It's not as simple as a single click thing that he clicks and the release goes out. It's like,
Especially backporting for point release.
yeah, and the kind of shepherding all the tickets, like cat herding and all that. That's why we said like 1 month is probably like too frequent. 2 months is okay. But I think we should get to a place where people should be okay if the release doesn't go into a release, and they should be able to be okay to wait for next release. So I don't know how we can get to that place.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, what you said is right, is if it was completely time-based, you knew in 2 months there's a new release happening, then you might be okay holding off. But in reality, that's not what ends up happening. It's, 2 months comes around, and then the release gets pushed sometimes 2 months later.
Yeah.
Because you're waiting for everything to get in. So yeah, it's kind of a conflict in theory and practice there.
Is the allowing jumping of versions part of like a new release policy for us?
That's already been the policy since 1.0.
Since 1.0, okay. I guess I'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but Gilbert, your point is fair. Also, backporting to point releases becomes a lot more cumbersome, right? If we have more point releases.
Yeah, there's a lot more backports to do. Yeah, I guess that's a balance. Also, if you have like 10 releases in 10 months, then
You gotta backport it to all 10 of them.
Yeah, because what is our support
6 months.
policy? 6 months? Okay, so
So if it has one for every month, it's like 6 releases you need to backport at max.
And cherry pick is not easy.
So sometimes not easy. So that's like the balance we need to cut.
Anything else? Anyone wants to talk about? Anybody online have a topic in mind to discuss with the community?
Hidden behind it.
Are you?
By the big face.
Oh, okay. Anybody here? Nothing?
Oh,
What I miss about Kinley?
we just did roadmap
We
updates.
just went through the roadmap today. We
Yeah.
don't have a presentation this week, but I'll try to schedule one for next time.
Yeah, you missed the part on the GPU status for Docker containerizing.
Did someone talk about it?
We just go through the roadmap and then we want you to confirm what's the status of that one.
The status on it is that Guangya has decided to take over as the shepherd, and I haven't heard from him since. Yeah.
I guess we should follow up on that.
Yeah, that was just like 2 weeks ago though.
I see. Okay.
And the idea was that he would take over as shepherd, but me and Ben would still help him review, but he would do all the, because he's a committer now, so he would be the one that actually finally committed it in the end and everything. So,
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Then let's cut early. See you guys later.
cut early, sorry. I thought you meant the release. Yeah.
All right.
Very good. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Bye.